All right. Well, that sucked. Knicks lose by a final of 99-86. I've been thinking about how to talk about this one for the last few minutes. Disappointing win or disappointing loss. My subconscious is telling me what I want to hear. Disappointing loss, frustrating loss, annoying loss, upsetting loss. For a lot of reasons. I can't be angry at this loss, though. I don't, I don't know where else there is to start other than, it's just read the lines. Julius Randle 5 for 20. RJ Barrett 3 for 11. Derrick Rose 1 for 10. Emmanuel Quickly 2 for 9. That's your game. When you're four of your 5 most talented offensive players, because Alec Burks is certainly in that conversation. When 4 of your 5 most talented offensive players go, shoot whatever the fuck they shot, 15% from the field, you're not going to win against any team in the NBA, let alone a really good one. And the Mavs are a really good team. They didn't really play like it tonight. I didn't think the Mavs played particularly well. I thought Luka was fine for Luka's standards. I thought Jalen Brunson, man, we're still a year and a half away from when he hits free agency, but shit, we talk round and round in circles about where is the Knicks' answer at point guard. Wouldn't it be something if down the line the biggest critique we had of the KP trade is that they couldn't get Jalen? I mean, at this point, you would easily give up the 2023 first rounder for Jalen Brunson. Fuck, you give up this year's first rounder for Mavs pick for Jalen Brunson. In a heartbeat. He's really good. This wasn't an anomaly tonight. He's one of the best shooting guards in the league. He's incredible. But other than him and Doncic and, Hardaway hit a couple shots, like nobody on the Mavs played well. Obviously, KP didn't play well. Stevens Guillaume with our first comment in the super chat. Nobody had it tonight. Is this the beginning of a free fall? It's time to expand the rotation. I mean, free fall, I'm loath to say anything about any of the beat writers who all do amazing work, and I have great respect for them all. But I will push back a little bit on a tweet that Steph Bondi sent a few minutes ago, saying that Randle. I mean, you can't have a worse game than Julius Randle had tonight. That is this the beginning of him? Is this him tiring? I think to assume that this is him tiring is a bit much. He's had 2 bad games or whatever. He's had 3 bad games, whatever it is. I mean, guys go through slumps. Sometimes they last a week. Sometimes they last multiple weeks. I'm not about to say that this is the beginning of a free fall. To me, you worry about a free fall when you have a team that shows up and doesn't compete and doesn't play with effort. The Knicks, even the other night against Minnesota, as much of a dog shit performance as that was, and that was just dog shit heaped on top of piles of dog shit. They tried hard. They didn't play without effort. Tonight, I mean, you don't hold a team like Dallas to 99 points, and God knows the Knicks were competing at the defensive end. I know there were a couple of possessions late there where they kind of let go of the rope, but for the most part, this was a good defensive performance by the Knicks. You can't stop Luka Doncic from banking in fucking threes. I mean, the guy's as talented as any player in basketball. They competed tonight, and like I know, Breen and Clyde were talking about the ball wasn't moving or there wasn't a lot of verve to. Yes, there was no verve to the Knicks offense, to use my oft-used term. And what did they end up with tonight? I would be shocked if they ended up with 15 assists. They ended up with 18 assists. Okay, so it's really tough to have an offense that's fluid and like, stuff's happening when nobody can hit a shot, and nobody can hit a shot tonight. So, good offense comes from when guys draw doubles or draw the attention of the defense generally and then make the proper pass. And I think at one point tonight, they were trying to do that tonight, and even in the second half, they were trying to do that. But when no one's hitting a shot and the Mavs are just playing really good one-on-one defense and the Knicks can't do anything with it because their best players can't hit the far side of a barn, I don't know, I don't know what you're supposed to do. Another comment in the super chat here from Chad Cohen. Randall clearly has sucked since he changed his hair. Clearly the primary issue. I mean, I don't know what it is. I mean, in terms of expanding the rotation he played 10 guys tonight. He played 10 guys. We'll talk about some of the guys who did not get minutes, and it's funny. Sometimes I come on here after wins even, and I have people like with their pitchforks and rakes and things ready to scold Tibbs for things he did or didn't do. Tonight, you look at what he did, and it's really, for me, maybe I'm missing something. And look, I sometimes don't see the game in the way that other people see it. I didn't think Tibbs did anything overtly wrong tonight. I mean, Burks was the one guy who had it going. He played Burks 29 minutes. You want to tell me he should have played Burks more? Fine. I mean, you want to say that like Elfrid Payton played 13 minutes and 46 seconds too many? I'm not going to disagree with you there. But I thought we did a halftime Zoom, and I mentioned Payton played 6 minutes or whatever. We're going to talk about Obi. I feel like I have to talk about the game first. I feel like this was such a big game, and we built this up as like we needed this game. It was a huge game. I feel like for me not to honor the game first before talking about the good thing would be disingenuous. So let me just finish up on the game, and then we'll talk about Obi, because I'm excited about Obi too. Anyway, yeah, Payton played 6 minutes and change in the first half, and someone was like 6 minutes too many. Like, yeah, sure, of course, we're ready to be done with Payton. But to me, if you're looking for signs of growth from Tibbs and his decision making, him only playing Elfrid Payton 13 minutes tonight, I thought was a good sign. So, other minute. Evan Janishin. Goddamn, I love Brunson on the Knicks. I mean, Jalen Brunson is, he's in the process of playing himself into the Fred VanVleet contract. And, I don't know what Dallas's plans are for Jalen Brunson. They could sign him to an extension this offseason if they want him to. They're limited in terms of how many dollars they could sign him to because of how cheap he signed for. So I don't think he's going to sign an extension this offseason. I think he's going to enter free agency a year from now. Like, talk about a guy that, boy, you open up the checkbook for. A couple other comments here. Emil Balmansor. This game hurts because it felt so winnable. With our shooting struggles, we were only down 3 in the fourth. It is what it is. They shoot decent. We win. Yeah, it's weird. There's games that feel winnable when the Knicks don't make the plays that they need to make to win. And then there's games that feel winnable that are frustrating because you're like, oh my God, if they could have just hit a fucking shot. Just give me one fucking shot that goes down. And but even then it's like, it's just, they felt like they weren't close. It's just so frustrating. But again, it's frustrating, and I'm not upsetting or maddening. It's a small difference. Stevens Game, we're a true point guard and shot creator away from being a top team in the East. I don't disagree with that. I've alluded to this earlier this year. You put Chris Paul on this team. You put, I don't know, name your point guard. Damon Stoudemire on this team. 10 other guys. They're a 45-50 win team. in an 82 game season. This year they're a 4 seed. Justin Richards, when is it on Tibbs that we haven't figured out a zone all season? I mean, here's the thing: to figure out the zone, you have to have guys who can make shots. And they faced the zone against Miami, or was it? No, it wasn't against Miami. It was the game before Miami, Milwaukee, and they took 44 threes. Like, that's how you defeat a zone. You shoot a shit ton of threes. Tonight they shot 38 threes and they made 12 of them. They shot 31.6% from three. I thought Dallas guarded the line pretty well, even playing in a zone. They tried to pass it into the paint. You know, the guy who's going to be right there. They had looks at the rim. They were just bad tonight. There's times when I feel like it's on Tibbs that he does not do a good enough job coaching them out of the zone. But it's not like you want to tell me we should have seen more Kevin Knox to get them out of the zone tonight. But then it gets back to they gave up 99 points to a Dallas team that's averaging, I don't know how many fucking points they're averaging. There's a lot more than 99 points. Like, it's a give and a take. There's no easy choices here. It's a valid critique. But to me, that's not going to keep me up tonight. CT Pittman, I'll start being concerned if we lose to Detroit tomorrow because we got the Knicks and the Celtics after that. Here's what I'm going to say. Next game, after how tired they looked at the end, because they did look tired at the end of this one tonight. I mean, next game, you want to talk about Armageddon time? Look, and again, this is all relative, right? I just want to acknowledge this is all relative. This team is not winning the championship this year. This team is not winning a playoff series this year. This is all about getting the mindset right, establishing the culture, entering this offseason feeling good, feeling positive about where things are headed as a franchise. And we're like, if you wanted to make the argument to me that we're already there, I'm not going to hear you because I think they need to still get there and like maybe have a good showing in the play-in or whatever. But you want to talk about a lot of those feel-good vibes going right out the fucking window, lose to Detroit and then lose to Brooklyn and lose to Boston. And then there's your 6-game losing streak, and then all of a sudden you're 9th or 10th in the East, and you're in a different conversation. So I do think Detroit tomorrow is just an absolutely massive game. And here's the thing. Here's the positive. And now I'm going to get to Obi pretty soon. I'm going to acknowledge a couple more comments in the Super Chat, then I'm going to get to Obi. Here's the thing. They have not let go of the rope. It's not like you're seeing the Knicks come out and like give up on defense or not try to play the right way. It's just they've hit a rough patch. And given their talent and their personnel, you kind of look at it and you'll be like, all right, I could excuse it. The last game, you want to put the last game on Tibbs and Elf, that's fine. I wrote about it today. I put it on them. But I'm not totally worried yet because I'm not seeing the signs of a team that has like given up. So, you know, I'm right. I'm like, but this game is huge. This game is massive. Bad Eyesight says, I do think we should try Randall out the 5. Yeah, no, that's a great comment, Bad Eyesight. Try Randall out at the 5, maybe sneak Knox into the rotation to spread the floor. If we can't beat the zone. You know, obviously you're giving up a lot on defense if you try Randall at the 5 because he just offers zero deterrent at the rim. Is that something worth trying out for 5 minutes a game? Yeah, that might be worth trying out. Sure, absolutely. I think that's a good comment. Make sure I get to everything else here. Michael Aaron, what's up, Michael? How are you, buddy? We were supposed to win 22 games this season. Yeah, the last few games have been frustrating, but please put the pitchforks away, guys. Randall is an all-star. RJ's made strides. The sky isn't falling. Yeah, like RJ going through a rough stretch right now. Randall's going through a rough stretch right now. Quickly even going through a rough stretch right now. Like, it's okay. It just sucks that it's all happening at once. You want to see how they respond to it. So, overall, this season is going to end on a positive note. It's just a matter of, like, does it end on this, like, super, super positive note that we were all, like, most fun Knick team that we've seen maybe all decade or all century or in the last 20 years? Or is it just going to be like, all right, we've made a step? Like, which kind of positive is it going to be? That's where I'm at right now. So good comment, though. Anthony Sixto, these last few losses felt like a reminder that this team's success was always a balancing out with little margin for error. Absolutely. the slimmest margins of error. What do you think a bounce back will look like for the team with some tough games ahead? This is going to sound trivial and trite and not very sophisticated. I think a bounce back is going to look like making some shots. Just make some shots. I thought Randall. I didn't hate any of the shots Randall took tonight. I thought he was just terrible, but I thought he took the right shots. I think RJ. He's hit. This is. I think, can we now call this a little bit of a mini slump again? This is now 3 games. An RJ bounce back would be nice. Quickly getting back to what Quickly was doing earlier in the season. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what there is. Just make some more shots. Win some of these games. Sorry, that's really not sophisticated. We're getting to Obi. I just want to make sure I get all the other super chat comments. James Lee, today's game reminded me of the Fizdale era. I don't know about that. I politely disagree with that. They came out and they played with no sense of purpose and oftentimes no effort and certainly no plan. Like, they had a plan. You don't hold Dallas to 99 points without a plan, and they executed that plan on defense. And I thought for the most part they kind of had a plan on offense. They just couldn't do anything. So respectfully disagree there. Overratedness. Randall has had more than 2 bad games. He's settling for a lot of jumpers in isolation. He was driving and kicking a lot more in the first half. Yeah, but he's been making tough shots all year long, because his making tough shots is how he draws those doubles. And he also drove it a lot tonight. He just, again, he wasn't hitting the shots. And he had, what did he have? He had 8 assists, I think, or 7 assists, 11 assists. Shit, yeah. So, I understand we're all frustrated, but it's tough for me to be like, oh, all of a sudden Randall's like playing a different caliber of game. Man had 11 assists. CT Pittman, I at least want us to get to 30 wins this season. To me, for me right now, personally, I would sign off on like 33, 30, 32, 33, 34. 34, I definitely sign off on. And then go from there. So I'm getting to Obi. I'm sorry. I just want to make sure I get everybody from the super chat and I don't miss anybody. Blanche Tears, bro, where's the front office? I don't know what do you want the front office to do? Where's the buyout candidate that was going to rescue us? Like, again, to me, this front office, they're not so stupid that they didn't think this was coming. I respect their restraint by not giving up the Detroit pick and a future second for Evan Fournier. Because as I've said in the past, or whatever trade you wanted them to make, Evan Fournier doesn't materially make it. Like, do you think if Evan Fournier was on this team tonight, they win this game? They don't win this game tonight. They don't win any material game or whoever. I'm just using him as an example. I actually respect the front office for realizing, like, hey, this season's been fucking gravy. We're not going to compromise the future for short-term success, because that's what a lot of front offices in the past have done. So, again, I get tonight is so frustrating. I'm frustrated, too. This fucking sucks. I was watching this game for the first 15 minutes. I literally had chills because I wanted this game so bad. It's horrible. But, let's stay focused on the prize here. Michael Aaron with another comment. Thank you again, Michael. Another quick thing to remember, guys. We fought injuries all season, and now RJ and Randall have some ticky-tack injuries, and Mitch is in here. Absolutely. It's a really good comment. And they're still not fully healthy. They're missing their starting center. You don't think Mitch would have made a difference tonight? Absolutely. I think he would have. What else we got here? Did I miss? Mood wins us this game. I don't know who Mood was. No, but Moutier. But seriously, bad game overall. Tough start to April. I believe the bounce back tomorrow. I hope so. I'm here for the bounce back. Stevens Guillaume, man, you talk about MVP tonight. Thank you so much. Really, I don't know that I can express on behalf of myself and the whole KFS team how much everything you guys contribute means so much to us, because we do try to make this as good as possible. Despite the fact that you guys may agree with or disagree vehemently with some of my comments. Just want to send this in before the live ended. I won't be on here tomorrow. I got a gig. Have a great gig, and happy Easter to you as well, Stevens. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Go see Stevens. Stevens, can you put in the chat where your gig is? Maybe people can go see you, or DM me if you have Twitter. Wixel Metellus. In retrospect, with Frank and Knox being out of the rotation, is the trade we should have looked at more than could have helped us now? To me, I'm looking the other way. I'm looking at, like, when is the time to start looking at potentially getting Frank and Knox back in the rotation? That's because I don't think Frank or Knox would have gotten them anything materially difference-making at the trade deadline. So I'm at the point now where it's like, okay, Tibbs, you played Elfrid Payton 13, what did I say before? 13 minutes, 46 seconds tonight. Clearly, you are acknowledging it ain't working. Maybe it's time. I know you're in a playoff race. I know you still have a chance at getting, in the 6th seed or whatever. When is it time to turn the corner and say, hey, Elf's not part of this future? We know that. Maybe let's start Rose. Let's have Quickly and Frank and Knox and Obi off the bench. The problem is there's one too many pieces, so it's tough to get Frank and Knox in there because I don't want to bench Reggie. I don't want to bench Burks. I don't want to bench those guys because they help you win games. Elfrid, at least you look at what he's doing, and he's not helping. MeUndies. Love you, MeUndies, but sorry. James Lee, do you think the emergence of Randall suppressed Toppin more? All right, let's talk about Obi Toppin. Actually, last super chat. You're not going to win games shooting 36% from the field. This is from Zach Porknoy. Love the content. Keep up the great work, guys. Thank you so much. All right, let's talk about Obi Toppin. Obi Toppin came out during the preseason, and he struggled a little bit from the field, but he showed us some nice defense. He showed us some great passing. And I think it's really tough to remember because it's been like 3 weeks of like literally nothing from Obi Toppin. It's been like 3 weeks of nothing. That it's tough to remember, but we saw signs from this guy for the first 2 months of the season. Like I remember I'd be doing the newsletter and I'd be like, oh, I got to get that Obi Toppin play in there. And there was, it may have been only 1 or 2 plays a night, but he was playing 12, 13, 14, 15 minutes. And you felt like, okay, it's in there. It's in there somewhere. We have to squint. You have to put on the blue and orange, colored glasses to see it. But it's in there. We saw it. And then the last 3 weeks happened, and it was all of a sudden, it went away. I'm just looking at, okay, and it went away, and we forgot that. I forgot it, and I started to fall into the trap of like, shit, did we take a guy who's like not an NBA player? And tonight reminded you he's an NBA player. If you give him time to feel a little bit more comfortable, if you allow him to be a little bit more assertive, if he allows himself to be more assertive, not us allow him, he needs to allow himself to be more assertive. And you put him in situations where, hey, he could sneak in for putback dunks and things and like make tough shots. Like the thing that I keep coming back to all year long with Obi Toppin is that the stuff that he has done, I know it's like 10% of what we've seen from Halliburton and whatever, but the stuff that he has done, you can't teach that stuff. Now, there's been a lot of guys that have come through the NBA and have done stuff that you can't, quote unquote, can't teach, and they're not NBA players or they're NBA, 10th men. So Obi doing that stuff doesn't mean that he's a certain level of player, but you have to feel good about the fact that the work ethic, by all accounts, is there. He is a good kid. That's there. So when you see the stuff on the court that he does that can't be taught, and when he's able to play minutes where he's not getting played off the court on defense, and I think for the most part, he's shown us this season that on defense, at least, he's a playable NBA player. Not a good defensive player, but a playable defensive player. You put all that together, and 49 games into his rookie season, with the moments that we got tonight, and my God, can I just say, my wife was upstairs putting our older daughter to bed because she still has trouble falling asleep on her own. And she came down. I was with the baby, and she's like, I haven't heard you like that all year. And it wasn't just like one scream. It was like a yelp, and it was like 4 yelps. It was yelping. She's like, it sounded like you were having an orgasm. To which I responded, that's unsettling for you and for me. But when Obi Toppin does things like Obi Toppin did tonight, you make noises, and those noises sound like all kinds of shit. So that's what I'm going to say about Obi Toppin's night. He made me make lots of noises. No, but seriously, that's if you want to take away a positive tonight, that's the positive you take away. And I would be remiss if before we hit the. Sorry, Andrew. I would be remiss if before we hit the 30-minute mark, because I've only mentioned him in passing. Alec Burks tonight. Let me just read his stat line. Alec Burks was 6 for 11, 4 of 6 from 3, got to the line 4 times, and scored 20 points. And he was -4 in a game they lost by 13. I've said on different podcasts, obviously Julius Randle's their most important player. He's their best player. RJ Barrett, he's in a little bit of a slump right now. He had a little bit of a slump in the middle of the season. He had a slump at the beginning of the season. Even with those slumps, RJ Barrett has been their second best player. I think on the whole, Alec Burks has been their third best player this season. And I know Quickly has had some amazing games. And Quickly has won us some games. But goddamn, Alec Burks just has had just a few moments that have gotten you frustrated, but for the most part, he's been everything. Like, what more could you want for a 1-year, $6 million contract? I think it is absolutely imperative that they bring him back next season. I feel like we don't pay enough attention to roster continuity and how important roster continuity is in the NBA. Adam 2YB says extend that man. It's tricky because they're not over the cap, obviously, so they don't need to extend him using bird rights because it's early bird rights. So the most you'd be able to offer him an extension is, I believe, 120%. So yeah, $7.2 million. He's earned himself a contract that starts at more than $7.2 million. Now, if Alec Burks is willing to sign for you for a 4-year contract with 8% raises starting at $7.2 million, you sign him to that and you run to the fax machine to send that contract into wherever the fuck you send it. But he's played himself into a full mid-level, I believe. And I understand that maybe that's the full mid-level gets you a lot nowadays in the NBA. I think he's earned it. So, however you want to get that contract extension done, I just bring Alec Burks back. He's earned it. And, Reggie Bullock, by the way, look, Bullock didn't have a great game. He was 4 for 10, but 4 for 9 from 3. So ultimately you 10 shots, 13 points. Not great, but, Bullock had a nice game too. I wouldn't mind seeing him back either. But, okay. I think that's everything I had to say about this game. It was great seeing Porzingis struggle in the first half. That was a lot of fun. I'm not going to lie. That was really enjoyable. This game does not – do I have to talk about KP? I really don't want to talk about KP. This game doesn't change my opinion on him one iota. When you have a player like Doncic, your goal every year should be to win the championship. And I don't know that Porzingis is a player who's ever going to give you 2 months straight worth of max player worthy basketball. So I wonder what Dallas would do if they had a do-over. Check the score of the Warriors game. I heard the Warriors went on like an 80. Thank you, Jason M. By the way, I heard the Warriors went on like an 83-3-1 or 3 run or some shit. The Warriors score right now is 130-77. Holy hell! The only reason I'm upset about that is because Toronto. This is the last thing I'll say, and then I'm going to take about 10 minutes worth of questions, and then I'll get out of here. Every morning for the last like 2 weeks, I've been checking where the Raptors are in the standings because they're obviously the 11th seed. And I'm like looking at them, I'm like, okay, so if the Knicks finish the season if the Knicks win like 9 more games from here on in, how many games would the Raptors need to win to like catch up to the Knicks? Because they're the team I have my eye on. And I'm refusing to say that they are dead. And, I really want to make the play-in. I'm a fan. I want to make the play-in, especially when at this point your lottery position is really not going to materially change whether you make the play-in or you finish 11. And I think it would be really disappointing for them to finish 11th this season. So I'm keeping an eye on the Raptors. I see that score. I'm not thrilled with it, but it is what it is. Okay. Let's take some. The Bulls are struggling. Thank you, Andrew Chan. And boy, does that have. Here's the last thing I'm going to say. Although I am responding to a comment in the chat, so it's kind of like answering a question. I thank the good Lord, wherever he may be, that the Knicks did not make a. My God, I'm forgetting his name. Nikola Vucevic type trade this trade deadline, because you don't think that trade was there for the Knicks if they wanted to. You don't think the Knicks could have done Mitchell Robinson and the Mavs pick and a future unprotected New York first for Nikola Vucevic this season, and to do fucking what? Where does that get you as an organization long term? I think and here look, this is Kool-Aid man, right? This is me drinking the Kool-Aid, always putting a positive spin on anything. If you're looking for a positive tonight, other than Obi, acknowledge the fact that we're all frustrated here, and we're frustrated because we just watched a fucking team that couldn't put the ball in the fucking basket because they have so little offensive talent. Let's acknowledge the fact that this front office is sticking to a plan that actually makes sense to stick to. This was not the season to go out and make the big move, to make them from the 24th best offense in the league to the 19th best offense in the league. The Bulls did it because the Bulls felt they needed to do it, because the Bulls were scared shitless about LaVine hitting free agency in a year and a half. The Knicks didn't need to make that move. They didn't make that move. I'm thankful they didn't make that move. I know this sucks sitting here tonight watching this team score 86 fucking points. I get that that's frustrating. Obviously I'm frustrated, but I'm thankful that we are not in a position where Chicago is right now, where they're whatever the hell their record is, and they're like, wait, and you're telling me we don't have a pick this year, and we don't have a pick 2 years from now? That's not what you want. The one thing King Bernard 30 says it's going to be years to fix this mess. I don't agree with that. I think for as annoying as tonight was on offense, why was tonight annoying on offense? It was annoying on offense tonight because Quickly couldn't hit a shot. RJ Barrett couldn't hit a shot. Randall couldn't hit a shot. Rose is what he is. But those 3 guys are all on the Quickly's on the way up. Barrett's on the way up. Toppin, theoretically, still on the way up. Randall had an off game. Still has more to go. I think he could still get better. It's just, an off night's an off night. All right. Let me take some questions. Let me get out of here. I don't have a newsletter tonight to write, and I have some scotch left in my glass. So Charlie Livingston, little concerned with Julius. Seems like against the better teams, he hasn't played as well. Hopefully not a theme. That's a good comment in the sense that, how do I put this? I think Julius Randle's season has been real. I don't think that this is fool's gold. But Julius Randle has played himself into a max contract discussion. Does that mean he's played himself into a max contract? Absolutely not. And the rest of this season is going to be very interesting to watch how he plays. The Knicks are only going to be able to offer him so much money this offseason. The max the Knicks can offer him this offseason, he is absolutely worth, because that's only, $26 or $27 million. If he turns that down and moving forward, then you get into some really touchy territory, because the worst thing you could do as an NBA franchise is sign a guy to a max or close to a max who isn't a max player. And I think we definitely do. And again, this is not me disparaging Randle. This is not me saying that Randle isn't an all-star. This is me just acknowledging that in the NBA, for as much as 24 players make the all-star team and 15 players make the all-NBA team, there is a chasm of difference between the top 25 or 24 players in the NBA and the top 10 players in the NBA. And I think absolutely we need to pay attention to where Randle is at for the rest of the season and obviously next season as well. I'm hoping it's just a little blip. I'm not writing him off at all. I'm still really excited about where Randle is. I want Randle to be a Knick for a very long time. But yeah, definitely worth monitoring for sure. Let's see. Eddie Dure or Dore? Why didn't the Knicks make a play for George Hill? Yeah, I would have liked to make a play for George Hill. I think I forget what exactly the Thunder got back in that trade. I would have liked George Hill. That said, just as a devil's advocate position, I would have liked George Hill. As a devil's advocate position, if you start Alec Burks as your point guard, it's not that different from starting George Hill. George Hill doesn't do a whole lot different from you as a point guard than Alec Burks is. He's a better point guard, but in terms of what he does from three and other shit, I just as soon say go with Alec Burks as your starting point guard and then roll with Rose quickly and then Frank or Knox, Obi, and your big off the bench. Good question though. What else we got here? I think we need to bring back Nerlens. This is a comment from Goose. Having Nerlens and Mitch gives us 48 minutes of elite rim protection and huge reason for our defensive success. What kind of contract would you offer him? 3 for 33. So I hope this doesn't and then also JG asks, any word on Norvel Pell playing tomorrow? Apparently Norvel Pell's going to be available tomorrow. I don't know whether he's going to play. Very excited about Norvel Pell. I want to see him. I don't want this to come off as me disparaging what Nerlens Noel has done this season. I think Nerlens Noel has been awesome this season. I will talk about Norvel Pell some more. But centers are replaceable. And I love Nerlens. I want Nerlens back. But I want Nerlens back on our terms. So Stevens Guillaume, 2 for $12 million. That's your Nerlens Noel extension. 2 for 12, maybe 2 for 14, but 2 years. Or if he wants 3 years, it's 3 for 20, and it's declining. That's the extension you give a center who's a very replaceable center. You just don't center is not a position you pay in the NBA right now, and you that's just not a smart expenditure of assets. D-Ray Light, last time I promise. Sorry I didn't see however many times you put this before. Why does RJ always come up lame against the Mavs? Ever since he said he wanted to dunk on KP, it's been a wrap for him against them. Look, RJ's a 20-year-old kid who doesn't have an off the dribble game from outside. He's still figuring out his offensive game. He's a crafty. He has to be crafty to score. And I think we're still a ways away from when we can feel like, okay, RJ's going to have a great game, because he struggles sometimes just making shots. He doesn't have that reliable thing that he could go to. When he had that 12-game stretch where I was coming on here every night and I was saying, oh my God, we're witnessing the RJ Barrett leap in real time, I came on here and said that because he was making some tough shots. But they were still tough shots. So it's unfair of me to come on and be like, the 20-year-old kid has to hit tough shots every night, because there's very few 20-year-old kids that could do that. I just think he needs to develop some more reliable stuff that's a fallback for when the tough shots aren't going down. We're getting there. He'll be fine. Don't worry about RJ Barrett. RJ Barrett's is gonna be fine. What else we got here? Forgotten NYC. At what point do you start to wave the warning flags? Not yet. Not yet. Jonas Plout. Ever since the Spurs game, our play has taken a step backwards, but because of wins against crappy depleted teams, we were being kept afloat. The next 10 games against real teams will determine our fate. Yeah, I mean, they had wins against two. They had wins against. I just noticed Woj's very, very kind tweet. I forget who Jamal Mosley's agent is. I think Jamal Mosley's CAA. Woj doing a solid for CAA with that tweet tonight. But yes, terrific head coaching audition for Jamal Mosley. Anyway, what are our wins? Oklahoma City, Orlando, Washington, Milwaukee. Yeah, that's a fair comment. Vivek, what's going on, Vivek? We just have to find a way to score points. Too many scoring ruts. Yeah, absolutely. CAA sponsored tweet. Yeah, very, very much so. If our upside is a 5-6 seed and the downside is an 8-10, why do we even play Elf? I don't know. I don't think they should be playing Elf anymore. Jonas Plout, is a big trade more likely this offseason if they finish around 500 or if they completely bottom out? That's a good question. It's more likely if they finish 500. How much of a material difference it makes, I'm not so sure about that. Good question though. All right, couple more. RG the OG. RX doesn't have any touch around the basket or in the paint. Couldn't shoot a bank shot to save his life. RX. Do you mean RJ? Is the J next to X? I don't know who he means there. Look at the Clippers' record. A big free agent signing may happen. Zeke Smith, keeping the hope alive. What did I say in my newsletter? A 12% chance? I think that's about right. 12% chance sounds about right for he who I will not name on this live stream. Andrew Chen, did you see how emotional Cat got when? After the last game? No, I haven't really. But, Cat's on the docket. D-Ray Light, the 4-minute scoring droughts have been happening way too often lately. Yeah, they have. Kyrilos Shinuda, who do you want with the last roster spot? Good question. Oh, I haven't talked about Norvel Pell. Norvel. I think Norvel is a guy who fits the profile of someone that I'm really excited about. He's a guy who was super talented. He was the number one center in his recruiting class at one time. He was a top 25 recruit, couldn't go to college because of academic difficulties, bounced around a little bit, never really got a shot, but the talent is there. And I think that's step one. Step two is, how has he fared when given a chance at this level to display his talent? And I think if you look at the Sixers last year, when Norvell Pell got a shot, he was really good. And I may have heard something around the way that the Sixers really wanted to keep him. I will pass that along. The Sixers really wanted to keep him, and it was more of a roster crunch issue than anything. They did not have the luxury of keeping him moving forward. But I think he's an NBA player, and I'm excited to see what he does. I hope he gets a chance. I'm not going to sit here and be like, I hope he plays over Taj Gibson, because Taj Gibson, again, did yeoman's work tonight and was awesome. And I feel bad that I'm just mentioning his name for the first time right now. But yeah, I want to see Norvell. I'm excited about Norvell. Who do I want with the last roster spot? God. I'll be honest. There's no one that I'm dying to see. You want to? What's Michael Kidd-Gilchrist doing right now? Probably nothing. I don't know. There's no one that comes to mind. Andrew Claudio. Hi, Andrew Claudio. Heard you talking baseball earlier this week. Do you think the Yankees have enough pitching? What would your ideal lineup be? I'll hang up and listen. Do I think the Yankees have enough pitching? No. What would my ideal lineup be for the Yankees? Oh, my producer is putting me on the spot and is asking me how many Yankees I could name. Fuck. Judge, my ideal Yankee lineup contains Aaron Judge hitting fourth, Gary Sanchez hitting third, Brett Gardner hitting first, leadoff, Brett Gardner. Fuck. I have to know another Yankee. Oh my God, this is embarrassing. You know what? I think they should play the best players at the other 7 spots in the lineup. I think they should just give the guys who have earned it the most. Aaron Hicks, is that a player? Aaron Hicks should play. Anybody else that I forgot? I lost a tiny bit of respect for you because you betrayed the Yankees. That's fair. It should be more than a tiny bit. We have some RJ hate in the chat tonight. I'm just noticing this. Yeah, look, I don't know where to be on RJ. I've been down on RJ, obviously. People kill me when I'm down on RJ, but he is only 20. And I don't know how you look at the good stuff. It's not, here's the thing about RJ. And this is the last thing I'll say tonight, and then I'll head. Oh, Torres. I should have known him. He's a good player. Here's the thing I'll say about RJ, and this is the last thing I'll say tonight. If it was just like one game at a time for RJ, and he has like one good game and then like 3 bad games or whatever. If you're a guy like RJ who is RJ's size and you could defend like RJ, which RJ has already shown himself this season at 20 to be a plus NBA defender. Is he their best wing defender? I don't know about that. I think Bullock's really good. He's a good wing defender in the NBA right now at 20. If you could do that and you could hit threes at, I don't know what his percentage for the year is at right now, but he's way over 40% since that opening slump. If you could do that, if you could put the ball on the floor at that size and you could make some high-level passes, he's shown all of this. And you could make some tough finishes, which, again, he's shown. I'm sorry, I can't kill the guy after a 3-game slump like this. Like, he's 20. He's entitled to have 3-game slumps after he had 12 games where he was playing like an all-star. So, I know people are frustrated with RJ, and you're talking to the guy who was probably more frustrated with RJ than any Knicks content producer for a lot early this season. I'm not about to get down on RJ right now. He's having a rough stretch. He'll be fine. Okay. I'm cool with where RJ is at. Would I trade Jalen or Randall for Jaylen Brown? Yes. Sorry, Julius, but yes. I think Jaylen Brown's really good. Okay, I think that's it. Boston laughs at that trade. Yeah, they do. They're not giving up Jalen. And let me just say, for argument's sake, do I think that there's a chance that Julius Randle is a better player than Jaylen Brown over the next 3 years or 4 years? Sure. Jaylen Brown's a lot younger, and he's locked up on a pretty good deal for the next 3 years, whereas Julius is entering some contract uncertainty, which as I spoke about before, might rear its ugly head. Thank you for tuning in tonight. Thank you, Andrew, for reminding me to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. I would have said this, but I would have forgot this. Tune in tomorrow to Locker Room, which you cannot tune into, but you can download the app. The Locker Room app looks like a dirty sock. It's a dirty white. It might not be a dirty sock. It's a white sock and a red background. So if you download the Locker Room app, you can come tomorrow at 11 a.m. and chat with me about whatever the fuck you want. And we'll call you up on the stage, and you could talk about Yankee lineups. You could talk about whatever you want. Come do that. That helps us out. Thank you, everybody, again tonight for helping us out, for coming, contributing, and being a part of this after a frustrating loss. Macri, can you tweet that out? Yeah, we tweet out the Locker Room thing in the morning. Andrew will do that, and I'll make sure I retweet that and the whole thing. Talk about Peyton. I'm not talking about Peyton. What do you want me to say about Elfrid Payton? It sucks, and I'm happy I only played 13 minutes tonight. Yeah, hopefully Tibbs has found religion. That's the only thing I'm going to say about Elfrid Payton. No, last thing I'll say, other than thank you to everybody, is just sometimes you got to acknowledge the emotions of this game and this sport, and being a fan. And I could sit here, and as I did to start tonight, I could say all the reasons why it's not a loss that makes me angry and all that, but it just sucks, and sucks. It just sucks. And I hope we can get a win tomorrow. Let's win tomorrow. That's where we're at. I'll see everybody after the game. Adios.